to another episode of Andrew's Life. This is a video that I really didn't want to do, but I'm going to do it because, as the channel's name suggests, it's Andrew's Life. Obviously, my name is Andrew, and this is going to be a piece of my life that I'm going to share with you guys. But what's been going on recently is things down here in Alabama have not been going the way that I was hoping so. And what I mean is my job. Now I've been down here for 3 weeks, and during the 3 weeks I've been down here thus far, I've been back down here thus far. I've been working my new job, and I am already thinking about quitting the job. In fact, I've been thinking about leaving this job for the last week. Now, why in the world? Sorry about that, people. Why in the world would I want to leave a job that I just got not even a month ago? Well, let me tell you why. Well, Uh, like where I work, and I kind of touched on this a little bit. I want to say on on the video that I made, I want to say maybe about a week ago, I touched on this a little bit. But where I work, there is like so much negativity going on. There's a lot of people that love to gossip. There's a lot of backstabbing. There's a lot of what I would call snake-like, juvenile, high school level behavior, and I don't like it. Now, last week we all got called in for a staff safety meeting, and for those of us that had safety concerns, we addressed them, and everything was going okay with this meeting. Now, let me remind you, even before this crap started going on, you know, I already was kind of second guessing staying at this job because, for one, it's a first shift position. I'm not much of a morning person, and it's an hour drive to get to work. And like I told you before, from the parking lot to the time clock, it's a good 10-minute walk, give or take. And plus, we have to go up 2 flights of steps to get to the break room. So, I don't like that, especially with my ankle being bad. So, due to that, and due to just the fact that I gotta wear boots, which tends to be hard on my ankles. So just so before everything started going to crap with the people, in my opinion, I was already thinking about potentially looking for something else, something where I can do second shift, to where I no longer have to wear boots. I can wear tennis shoes again. But I was willing to stick it out at least for a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Because, we got this recession going on, and I don't want to be doing a whole lot of job hopping during the recession. However, here's the reason why I'm thinking about quitting this job. In fact, I'm thinking about not even returning back to work tomorrow. Here's the reason why. Now, last week, we had a safety meeting, and just out of the blues, this one employee accused me of me not doing my job. So I let her get all her. I let this employee get their words out, and then I put my 2 cents in the matter, and I told the supervisor that I do my job every day. You can look at the cameras. And then before we know it, we started. Me and this employee started getting into an argument. Now the argument didn't last long because I was like, "Listen, I'm not gonna argue with you. This person over here is saying I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do. I'm not doing my work. Check the cameras, and then we can have a discussion. One on one meeting me and my supervisor. So, and then this employee was like, "So you can ask so and so. They'll say the same thing I'm saying." Well, no one said a word. Everyone remained super quiet. So, and then apparently, like in the morning time, not to get too graphic, but like when I leave, like on my way to work, I do drink 2 cups of coffee to get myself going. And typically, when I get to work, I gotta use the restroom, and like an hour into work, since the work that I do is very physical. I mean, an hour into work, I oftentimes have to use the restroom again. I mean, I would say every, I don't know, couple of hours, give or take, I'm using the restroom because, typically I use the restroom more times during the morning than I do during the rest of the day. And secondly, especially when I'm doing a whole lot of moving. And secondly, I try to drink plenty of water to stay hydrated. I mean, that's just what I've always done. And I never had an issue with people uh, telling me that I'm going to the restroom too many times. Well, apparently, there is a worker in some other department that was like, well, I see you in the restroom a lot. So I got smart with him. I can't tell you guys on video what I said because if I do, I won't get paid. But I got smart and so I do. Why are you watching another man use the restroom? That's kind of weird. Why are you worrying about me using the restroom? Why don't you worry about your money? Why don't you worry about your family? Quit worrying about what I do and mind your own business. I said something like that. So, so anyhow, that was the start of me wanting to look for another job. And I've been looking for another job. Just kind of, sort of. And then today, we had another meeting. And they were, and our supervisors were gonna, they were gonna take everything that we were supposed to do and change it. You see, rather than working all by ourselves, they were going to put us in groups of 2 to 3 people at a time. Well, most of the jobs I've had recently, I have always worked by myself because that's how I prefer to do it. And if we gotta get together and work as a team maybe so often, okay, whatever, it is what it is. But I prefer to work by myself. Well, making a long story short, there's this one employee that had a tantrum, almost like a freaking little kid had a tantrum. I mean, he slammed his cup on the table, started cussing and swearing, and walked out. And then there was another employee that, I'm gonna call it a tantrum as well. They started fussing and doing a lot of yelling and screaming and cussing, and eventually, uh, she walked out, and then she came back about 10 minutes later. I guess she had to cool off. So, and also, as I said earlier, where I work right now, there's a whole lot of gossiping going on, a whole lot of backstabbing, a lot of talking behind people's back. Now, the job I had up in Indiana, like I told you guys before, I liked the job. I just did not want to stay living in Indiana. I mean, if I was able to have that job down here, I would be in heaven. But unfortunately, that's not how life works. But where I'm at now, the job absolutely sucks. The people, in my opinion, they suck. I mean, I don't like the work environment. I can't even say I like the job because, to be quite frank, I don't even care for the job. Now, and and like I've preached to you guys on previous videos, I try to take my own advice. I don't, I try to take my own advice. Like before I quit a job, I try to have another job lined up because I don't want, my money's gotta stay straight, especially during this, especially during what's going on right now with the country, with this recession. But despite all that, I have contemplated on just not going back tomorrow and just calling it quits and going back out here and maybe doing a little bit of DoorDash, maybe make a few extra videos for the channel. And I even thought about donating plasma. Now, I haven't donated plasma since 2017 because shortly after I paid off my house, I quit donating plasma. But I thought about temporarily donating a little bit of plasma just for a little bit of extra money, along with maybe doing some DoorDash and a few extra videos for the for this channel. Cause I have seriously thought about not going back. Because honestly, when I go to this job anymore, I get anxiety because I know people there are a bunch of snakes. I know they love to gossip. I know I just don't trust the people that are there. And maybe what I'm saying is a little far fetched. Maybe I'm just thinking I'm just reading too much into the situation. But I honestly think that people that somebody at that place, if they don't get their way, they're gonna go crazy and bad things could potentially happen to people if you get the drift. I can't say it because of YouTube, so you'll have to kind of read between the lines there. And if that bad thing happens, I do not want to be nowhere around. I'd rather be somewhere safe to where I'm happy. I'm not trying to be around a bunch of people that are miserable, that appear to be short tempered, and they're gonna. I mean, if even the smallest of things go wrong, they're ready to crash out and mess up their whole entire life, potentially mess up somebody else's life because they're miserable. I think you guys know where I'm getting at, and I don't want no part of it. I really don't. I mean, like I said, I I don't even know if I'm gonna go back tomorrow. To be quite frank, because when I think about it, now I will say the supervisors don't appear to be bad people. They appear to be fair people. I'll give them that much. But when it comes to my coworkers, I don't like. I mean, for the most part, I don't like them. And when it comes to the job itself, you know, the job is. I mean, if the coworkers were different, the job would be better. But at the end of the day, my feet hurt. I mean, I got an ankle with 6 plates in it, and a lot of times when I be getting up off of work, it's all swollen up. When I wake up in the morning, it's swelling up, and like I said, I'm just contemplating on not going back, and just while I'm looking for something else, just to bring in some kind of money, I was going to continue to do. I was going to do like extra videos for the channel, maybe do some DoorDash, and you know but and maybe, and it's gonna be a huge maybe, donate plasma. So I don't know. I gotta think. But I just wanted to let you guys know why it was that I made my last video, the one that I had with Bob Wells on it. And due to all the shenanigans that have been going on with this job, I mean, honestly, having this job reminds me of why it was that back in the day, uh, I chose to live in the hood of West Anderson, Indiana. It reminds me of why I did that back in the day, back when my money wasn't right, back when I was getting myself built up. So it reminds me of why it is that many people out here do not want to own sticks and bricks, do not want to pay no rent. it reminds me of why a lot of people are looking into van life. They're looking into RV life. They're looking into traveling out west, and maybe while they're trying to save money to buy a piece of land, kind of like what Bob Wills did, they're going to live out their vehicle. Either A, they're going to be boondocking at truck stops or rest areas or cracker barrels, or B, they'll be boondocking at BML land out west. So me having this job I have right now in Alabama, here in Alabama, I mean, it just goes to remind me of why it is that you got more people than ever before, it seems, that are looking into living an alternative life to sticks and bricks and regular 9 to 5. And so yeah, and this job I'm working, it definitely does play a significant role of why it is I'm looking a little further into potentially purchasing a piece of land in Arizona and ultimately putting up some type of a tiny home structure on it. And I'm gonna be honest with you, people. The chances of me doing that are gonna be slim because honestly, when I do the math of what all that is gonna cost, uh, I mean, I could be wrong on this, but I'm fairly confident that the setup I have right now here in Alabama is probably going to be a little cheaper than what I'm looking at doing if I were to buy a piece of land in northern Arizona. Or two, the cost could be comparable. I don't know. I would have to do a little bit more math on the land first. But, but also when it comes to living in Arizona, the wages down up over in Arizona are going to be higher compared to Alabama. And the economy is going to most likely be larger and there's going to be more employment opportunities and it will be easier for me to find the kind of work that I want to do. you know as long as I have to continue to work 9 to 5. But I don't know if I'm going to do that though. I mean, I'm probably going to just stay here in Alabama and think of ways to hustle. I mean, legally, of course, and make my money here in Alabama working without being miserable. All right, folks. I just wanted to let you guys know what was going on with me and why I made that last video. Also I wanted to take this opportunity to give you guys a quick update on what's going on with my job here in Alabama. So, other than my miserable ass job, everything else so far down here is going good. I like my house. I enjoy my house. I'm glad I'm back down here. I'm just not so thrilled about how things are turning out at the job. And I'm at the point of my life where I do not want to stick around and deal with miserable people. I just don't. I mean, I consider myself a peaceful person, and I just don't want to deal with people that are miserable. Because to me, people that talk behind people's backs, people that spread gossip, to me, those people are miserable. And also, we got people there that are brown nosers. They always trying to kiss up to the boss. And that's another pet peeve of mine. I mean, my attitude is, hey, do your job, put your honest day's work in, and keep it moving. There's no need to brown nose. There's no need to basically make your job harder than what it's gotta be. I don't get that. I don't get that concept, but whatever. So, all right, folks, that's gonna do it for the video. I'm approaching 19 and over 19 and a half minutes. I don't want to make it too much longer than what it's gonna be. So, I'm going to take this opportunity to thank everybody for tuning in to my channel. If you like what I do, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. If you have not subscribed to the channel, do so right now. And on that note, stay blessed. And I'll catch you all in the next one.